Right, last bit of my FMP. I am talking to you about my research, my ideas, what I looked at, and all the stuff that I previously talked about, like my main stuff. Right, so I've written my blog. I have talked about the 3 different types of games or sports I was gonna research to look at, which is right here. This is where I've got videos of real life snowboarders and game versions of snowboarders. I talked about why I may have chosen this idea and moved on to Muay Thai and done the same for each of these in detail. This is what I'm talking about now. I also did free running and other stuff. I also looked at other sports games like motocross and stuff, but these were my 3 ideas, my main ideas that I was going to choose from. As you know, because I looked at like places in graffiti and stuff and rundown buildings in Brooklyn. This is like my main ideas for this. So I took that. That's a game called Dying Light with a lot of free running in. I took inspiration from that and Mirror's Edge, one of my favourite games. I also looked at videos of other gameplays and stuff like that for all of my categories. So as I go down, I made mood boards for each of them, looking at like the same stuff again. Then, because I narrowed it down to free running, I looked at graffiti and all that a lot and made mood boards and like abandoned buildings and stuff and whatever materials would be used. So I've done that. By here, I've talked about that by here, and I've written about why I have done this. Then I've looked at and made my own versions of what it would look similar to, what I would want it to look like. So I went in Photoshop and made like images / prototypes. I think that's what I'd call it. Concept ideas really of what I would hope it to look like, and written about those. Then I used both primary, secondary, and active primary research. So as I was like creating my game, watching like videos and stuff, and that's secondary research that I used. The primary research I used was like going around the college and looking at like the rundown pieces of metal and the smudges on the walls and the spray tagging and all the rusted metal and stuff around the college. More primary research I did that wasn't on campus was John Lennon's wall. I used because I went there on holiday in Czech Republic and I looked at the wall and it gave me inspiration for the graffiti I wanted to use in my game. So I got that on there as my primary research as well. I've written about this as well. Then, of course, for my secondary research, I looked on the internet, the types of stuff freerunners would wear, their movements, where they'd practice. Usually be anyway, but there's like special gyms and stuff they can go to, so I looked at that kind of stuff. I watched videos on my walk and run cycles by here, and then this was the videos for the jumps, the swings, the kind of free running type stuff. So I used like videos as references and made my own versions of the same type of thing they did. I looked at clothing, I looked at Nike Air shoes, I looked at joggy bottoms, I looked at t-shirts. For this type of stuff I wanted something that would look really stylish, like in a game, like what you'd wear anyway, but that was also really practical to run around in, that kind of stuff, yeah. So I looked at stuff that would like look really cool, but was also something that you would be able to run and jump around in. And I talked about this and why I'd use them, and like because they have different features. Like the Nike Airs, they literally have a pair of Nike free runs, and they have like grips on the bottom of them, and they're like light and stuff. So I looked at all this type of stuff. I did research, like it built up through my project. I did loads of research. I researched my audio and like WAV files. They needed to be like WAV files, and I researched like different accents. And Coach Frank, I was like from Skate 3. I tried creating my own version of that for my game, and I researched stuff like this, and I got my friend to record audio files that allowed him to do voices, and I edited them and put them into my game. So I did quite a lot. I used to free run. That was some of my first person experience. I used to do gymnastics as well for my GCSEs, and some of the movements were exactly the same or like really similar. So I did a lot of research on stuff like this. All my friends used to research. I used to look at their YouTube videos as well. They're really good like gymnasts and stuff, so the area I had it set was in Brooklyn, because of all the rundown buildings and stuff, and it was a really big city, and it's the kind of style I wanted, and the way that they kind of like talked and stuff and they acted. That's the reason I wanted to set in Brooklyn. Also, I was looking at Brooklyn because I'm going there on holiday. Well, I'm going to New York and I'm going to be stopping in Brooklyn, so I wanted something that I already been looking at anyway, and it gave me great inspiration for what type of clothes and stuff we'd also be wearing as well, and what the area would look like, how the accents would sound like, that kind of stuff. So overall, I think that was really helpful. I think my main, like what helped me out the most was my secondary research, because I could look at videos and use them as references. I could look at images, I could look at anything using the internet. But if everything was primary research, I reckon it would have been a lot easier, because I already knew what I was talking about, and I wouldn't have to do so much as like spend time looking through stuff, finding stuff. But overall, I think my thing went really well by here. My research went on for ages, and it wasn't just research in the start. As I was going through my game, I was still looking at stuff that could possibly go into the game, stuff, yeah, to build upon the stuff that I already researched.